Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of New York Jets Draft Buzz, Monday Night Sports Talk, whatever you want to call it. But you guys know the drill. Every single Monday, we go live here on Jets Media with Ali, Jack, and myself. Jack is having some technical difficulties, but he'll be joining very shortly. In today's stream, we're going to talk about all the latest news surrounding the New York Jets around the draft. Is Zach Wilson a lock at number 2? Who are we going to draft at 23? Who are we going to draft later on? And maybe talk about Sam Darnold because he talked to the media today for the first time about him being a Carolina Panther. We can just really go over this offseason, and we're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A. I'm excited to get into this. So before I hop into the stream and let Ali speak, I just want to say thank you so much for my new member of the channel, Down My Santana. Thank you so much for joining, becoming a veteran membership on the Jets Media membership program. I appreciate that. Hope you enjoy the exclusive perks you get. So, Ali, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm enjoying the nice weather. It's 50 degrees, nice, cool weather. And, I'm ready to talk some football.
Yeah, there's not good weather by me, man. The Mets game got rained out yesterday. The Mets game is probably going to get rained out again tonight. It's been pretty cloudy and terrible rain by us.
Hey, my Lakers play the Knicks today, so.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We versed tonight, baby. Hey, you guys beat the Nets. How about you let us get that dub tonight because we need that desperately. But, yeah, man, it's been a crazy weekend for myself. I was at the Knicks game Friday night. I was on TV for all the Knicks fans that saw me on TV. Shout out to you guys. And then I went to the Mets game Saturday, and I was on TV again. I don't know how it was possible. I'm usually never on TV. So for it to happen back-to-back games, and shout out to all you guys for letting me know because without everybody on Twitter recognize me, I would have no idea I was on TV. So that was pretty dope. V-Man, we got the first donation of the day. Shout out to V-Man, the most loyal subscriber on the channel probably. Richie, if you could go back in time to watch one of these games at Shea, the 1968 AFL title game or the 1969 World Series, which would it be? Wow, V-Man, this is a tough decision, man. Shea Stadium back in this time. Woo-wee. It would probably be the AFL title game to see Joe Namath at Shea Stadium. I feel like that's way too you can't pass that up. But obviously the 69 Mets World Series is hard as well. Good question, V-Man. It's a tough one. Also, my Knicks won the championship that year as well. Why can't I have that happen again? Can we have the Knicks, Jets, and Mets win all in the same year once in my life? For me personally, I know everybody in this chat is not the same fan as me, but come on, maybe let's see it. Shout out to V-Man, bro. Appreciate the donation, man. And we got Jack joining in. What's good, Jack?
What up, boys? Sorry about that. My laptop is not in a good mood today for some reason.
Shout out to Jack's laptop for not being in a good mood. We'll cheer him up. We'll cheer him up. So
Shout out.
What's going on, Jack? How you doing today, man?
I'm chilling, man. I've been looking forward to this. It's been a week since I've been on the live stream, so been looking forward to it. We don't have that much new stuff to talk about, but it's kind of been that way for a while now, so it's all good, man. Here we are. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, it's basically all the streams from here on out are going to be all hyped up for the draft because that's coming up. It's a big season for the New York Jets, especially when it comes to this year's draft. We got a ton of people that are tuning into the stream now. Shout out to everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying. Shout out to everybody joining in. Cliff, Elliot, Robbie, Jared, Noah, Jamal, Adam. Shout out to everybody joining in on the stream today. We got a long, hefty, meaty Jets Media stream today. We're going to talk about everything surrounding the draft. Is Zach Wilson a lock being the draft pick at number 2 for the Jets? Who are we going to draft at 23? Are we going to trade down? What the hell is Joe Douglas going to do with these draft picks? Go over the draft capital that we actually got from Sam Darnold. How are we going to use it? We could talk about Sam Darnold, his press conference talking to the Carolina Panthers. There's a lot that we can get into. So first off, I want to talk about Joe Douglas, right? Joe Douglas talked to the media, and he had very interesting points to say to me. What I learned from Joe Douglas as a human being is we always say Douglas values character in his players. And we saw Joe Douglas's character on full display when he was talking to the media. And he had a quote. I don't think it was his press conference, but he was talking to somebody else. And he cared about bringing Sam Darnold to an organization that would treat him right. And I really value that about Joe Douglas. He did not ship off Sam just where he can get the most draft capital possible. He kind of made it seem like, I want to make sure Sam Darnold goes to a position where he can thrive because he obviously likes Sam as a person. He loves him. He was one of his favorite players on the Jets ever since he came here. His toughness, yada, yada, yada. But for Joe Douglas to make sure that Sam's going to a proper destination tells you so much about Joe Douglas as a person. He said he can give two shits on how he looks on trading away Sam. As long as Sam Darnold's happy and the Jets are happy, that's all that matters. It's a win-win for both sides. And I just feel like it's not a super important topic to talk about, but I definitely want to bring it up because Joe Douglas values character in his players. And right there, we saw Joe Douglas's character for himself on full display. So, Jack, what are your thoughts on Joe Douglas trading away Sam and making sure that he goes to a team where Sam's comfortable and somewhere where he thinks Sam will thrive in?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool what he said. I thought it was, I don't know, I never really expected to hear that from Joe Douglas. But it's good. I mean, not that it really, I don't know. I'm trying to kind of wipe stuff like that out of my head just because Sam is gone now, and I'm really just trying to wrap my head around the fact that we're bringing in a new guy. So, it didn't really impact me that much, to be honest, but it was definitely cool to hear.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Ali?
Yeah, I mean, for a GM to come out and pretty much say that, and I think Douglas just had a really hard decision he had to make. Obviously, the Jets had the second overall pick, and a change and a new coaching staff coming in, they wanted a change, and obviously, we all think Sam Darnold could be successful in this league. Joe Douglas looks like he thinks he can be successful in the league. I mean, it's just things, it's things that Sam Darnold's gone. It's things that we ruined him. It's things that we didn't put enough around anything around him to build him as a quarterback. So, I mean, in his press conference today, when he was talking to media, he's pretty much just like he wanted to win Super Bowls here. He wanted to be here for over 10 years. He wanted to win. He wanted to win with this team. Obviously, it didn't happen. It definitely is. He pretty much said that he's sad about it, obviously, but it shows that he wanted to be here. He never thought about the trade rumors. He didn't think about that. And, it's just a move that Douglas had to make. He thought he had to make, and he made it. It's a business decision. It's nothing personal. I mean, I think they all have love for each other. And I think everyone's going to be rooting for Sam Darnold, but it's definitely going to sting a lot for Sam Darnold. And I hope him the best. I think he'll rock it in Carolina.
Yeah, man, we heard from Sam Darnold himself today. And he said, you know what? I really expected myself to be the Jets quarterback for 20 years and win Super Bowls. And hey, Sam, that was my dream as well. When we drafted you, that's what I was envisioning. And Sam envisioned the same thing. Obviously didn't work out. We're moving on, and we're not going to harp on the past, but it's definitely something to talk about because it happened today. And you guys know me. I'll be rooting for Sam over there in Carolina and hope he is going to have a great career and prove to the NFL that he's a starting caliber quarterback and be a guy that the Carolina Panthers can build around. So, let's move on for the whole Sam Darnold discussion and talk about this draft. So, obviously, we know that we are drafting a quarterback. That is evident. We saw a quarterback ranking list. I saw it on Twitter, and the Jets are 32nd with James Morgan as their QB1. I thought that was really funny. So, we don't have a quarterback on the roster that we are comfortable with until after the draft. So, my question is to everybody in the chat and obviously to Ali and Jack, is it a lock that Zach Wilson will be the pick? Or do you think it's still possible that Joe Douglas drafts Justin Fields or even Trey Lance or even Mac Jones or trading down? Because the buzz surrounding the Jets from every single source I've ever seen is it is a lock that Zach Wilson's the pick. There's so many people that just don't think it's going to, there's no shot that they don't draft him. There's a lot of speculation that it's already set in stone, and I don't know. My gut tells me it's going to be Zach Wilson as well. So, Ali, do you think it's a lock that Zach Wilson is the pick for the New York Jets, or do you think there's still a chance that he takes Justin Fields or another quarterback?
I'm almost certain it's going to be Zach Wilson as the quarterback for the New York Jets in 2021. I mean, but the one thing that gets me thinking is Joe Douglas has been so quiet with everything so far in this offseason. I mean, even the Sam Darnold trade was submitted to ESPN. No one's getting anything out of what Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh are thinking right now. So, I could see Justin Fields. I wouldn't be surprised if they picked Justin Fields at 2. I think the Jets are not going to go wrong with either quarterback, but I think it's going to be Zach Wilson at number 2 because I think it's just the ceiling's too high for Zach Wilson. I think everything leaning towards that. I think all the reports are leaning towards Zach Wilson going to the Jets, and I feel like a lot of people are pretty much saying the draft's going to start at pick number 3 with San Francisco because pretty much the first 2 picks are a lock. But I think pretty much, I think it's Zach Wilson. And I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, like I said, but I think Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I agree, man. So, Jack, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's guaranteed the Jets take Zach Wilson, or do you think there's still a chance that they fall in love with Justin Fields last minute?
It's looking extremely likely that Zach Wilson's going to be the pick. But, that being said, nothing that any reporters have came out with this year before the Jets actually made moves ended up being what we did. Every offseason move came as a total curveball to us Jets fans this year. The beat didn't have any solid information that ended up becoming true at all. So you never know. I mean, you can't guarantee it at all, but I do think it's very likely that Zach Wilson's going to be the pick.
Yeah, so I think I agree. I think the stars are aligning, but like you said, Jack, you never know. I remember in 2018, everybody said it was a lock. Sam Darnold's the Cleveland Browns quarterback at number 1, all the way leading up into the draft. And then I wake up on Thursday, the day of the draft, and we get an update. Baker Mayfield might be going number 1. Is that saying that's going to happen for this year's draft? But no, that's just an example that anything can happen. GMs can change their mind last minute. Joe Douglas said himself in the press conference that he got asked a question, do you have your quarterback locked in that you want? He said, no, there's still some meat in the bones of, we want to dissect these quarterbacks even further. I mean, he's just saying that to the media. Obviously, he's not going to tell us that he has a guaranteed answer of who he's drafting yet, but it's definitely something that we got to be interested to talk about because it's going to be so much speculation leading up into the draft. There's a lot of debate still. The whole Sam Darnold debate's obviously over since we traded him away. Now the debate is Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. And, Jets fans are divided at the moment between Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. So we're going to get into all that, the debates, the mock drafts, the positives and negatives of all these prospects. So let's just talk about Zach Wilson more since he is the favorite to be the Jets quarterback. Ali, what are your thoughts on Zach Wilson, and do you have confidence in him becoming the franchise quarterback for the New York Jets for the future? Because, hey, we drafted Sam Darnold 3 years ago, and we wanted him, and we expected him, and we had hope for Sam Darnold to be our quarterback for 10-plus years and to win a Super Bowls, right? Sam Darnold said that himself. He envisioned that, right? So we're drafting a new quarterback at number 2. Say, hypothetically, it's Zach Wilson. What's your confidence level in Zach Wilson being, one, build around properly with the personnel, with the coaching staff and developmental staff around him, and Zach Wilson as an individual quarterback?
I'm not overhyping any quarterback until proven correctly. I'm not going to judge a quarterback. I think we learned our lesson with Sam Darnold and a couple other quarterbacks we've had in the past. But, it's going to take time, obviously. I don't think it's going to be a one-year project and we're going to see progress from Zach Wilson. But, if the Jets are if Joe Douglas is actually doing this correctly, he should be a good quarterback and they should be building around him. If they do that, there's a good chance that he gets successful in this league. We just don't know that. We just don't know if he gets to, we don't know how his transition is going to be. There are concerns, obviously the competition he played, all that stuff, there's every quarterback has flaws. But we gotta see the progress that he makes over the years. We can't just put that staple. I think that's a staple that we gave Sam Darnold, and 3 years later we traded him. So I mean, we just can't work like that. We gotta see what it goes. Zach Wilson obviously is a big name guy. I mean, all over Jets media, pretty much on Twitter and Instagram. It's Zach Wilson. That's it. So I mean, if he comes in, there's gonna be a lot of high expectation from Jets fans. Personally, for me, it's not going to be, because I'm just like, I'm kind of lowballing it a little bit just to see how it goes. Obviously, the team around him, I think the weapons are 100 times better than what Sam Darnold came into. But we got to see how they work the draft. Are they going to get some offensive linemen? Are they going to get a tight end? Are they going to get another running back? Are they going to get another wide receiver? All this counts because it's a young quarterback. You need to build as much as possible around him. And, he's still a rookie. He's going to be a rookie coming into the league. And we just don't know what to expect. We don't expect him to be another Herbert, like Kyle Murray. Like, we can't put that thing up on him, So it's going to take some time. But, whatever quarterback comes in, I hope he can at least lead the team. That's what I want to see. I want to see leadership and competitive in every single game. That's what we want to see from whoever quarterback. If it's Zach Wilson, he better be ready to play because this is New York and he needs to play hard and tough. So we'll see how he transitions to the NFL.
Yeah, man, very well said. I have the similar mindset. Say hypothetically Zach Wilson is the guy that we draft. I'm not going into it overhyping him. I'm not going to expect him to be something great until he proves it to me, because I can admit it. I was a sucker of just attaching myself to Sam when we drafted him, and I just had a lot of high hopes for him. Obviously, did not pan out. So I'm not going to do the same thing with, say, Zach Wilson. I want him to go out there and prove it to be our franchise quarterback before I, put him on the pedestal and say, okay, this is our guy for the next 10 plus years. Do I want Zach Wilson to be the guy for the 10 plus years? Absolutely. I want this draft pick, whoever we draft, say it's Zach Wilson or anybody, Justin Fields, I want this quarterback to be the franchise quarterback of the future, because I'm sick of going through this whole quarterback carousel and, who is it going to be? Who's it going to be? But hey, I'm not going to crown whoever we draft until I see a rookie season. Obviously, that's going to be a pivotal, but you can't judge a quarterback after the rookie season. You need to give him 2 to 3 years, especially year 3. So I'm excited to see this quarterback go, but I'm definitely not going to be overhyping him like you said, Ali, and not going to, crown him anything until he proves me otherwise. So Jack, what's your thoughts and what's your confidence level on if the Jets do draft Zach Wilson, on him being our franchise quarterback?
Yeah, I think you guys both put it beautifully. I feel like if the last 3 years taught us anything, it's that you're only as good as the team and the staff that's around you. Regardless of what kind of prospect you are coming out of college. So I think it's in the hands of the organization now. I think that Zach Wilson definitely has a high ceiling in the NFL. I think that he might be in for a little bit of an adjustment period when he gets up to the next level. But that pretty much happens with every quarterback coming out of college. So I would feel confident in whoever we ended up drafting, because like I've said for months now, whoever we end up drafting will have the trust of Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and the organization as a whole. So I'm going to be rooting for whoever we draft. But it really falls on the Jets. It doesn't fall on whoever we draft. It falls on the Jets to finally do right by their quarterback. So we'll see, man. I definitely would have confidence in Zach Wilson if he was brought in. But, like I said a moment ago, you're only as good as the team around you. So we'll see if they execute the rest of the offseason properly and how the draft goes. And then I think we'll have a better idea.
For sure, man. And listen, if you want to go back memory lane and really look at where the Jets were when we drafted Sam Darnold, right? We gave up our draft capital to go and get him. Hold on. We got a very generous donation from John. Shout out to John, one of the most loyal fans on the channel. $10 dono. On vacay on the beach right now. Real talk. These fans better not bail on Wilson as quick as they did Darnold. Let's be a fan base that is not toxic AF. Chase Darnold out like he was a scrub. Be better, fam. John, I completely agree with you here, man. Very, very valid points. Jack, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, if Sam Darnold was playing in maybe any other market, I don't think he would have been driven out of town like he was here. So, definitely something to think about.
That's how it is in New York City, man. If you suck, you get booed out. If you're amazing, you are getting crowned as a king. And that's just the way it is. And that's unfortunately the reality of New York sports, no matter what sport we're talking about, basketball, baseball, football, hockey. It's toxic here because we're so passionate. The market is so big. And it sucks because Ali, Jack, and myself, we were supporting Sam even when he sucked. And some Jets fans were like, why are you supporting him? Oh, it's because he's our quarterback. So I'm going to support who's on our football team. I'm going to admit when he's playing terrible and he looks bad, but I'm still going to support the person that's on my Jets team. And that's just how we look at things. And other people look at it differently. That's okay. But it is what it is. Ali, what are your thoughts on John's little take here?
Yeah, I mean, I think he got too much, hate. And I feel like that has to do with Zach Wilson hype, and the people who hate on Sam Darnold are part of the Zach Wilson hype that are too much. Obviously, when you point out about Sam Darnold, the regressions, all the miscommunication on the field, all that stuff, that factors into moving on for him as a quarterback. Not because he's a bad quarterback, just because this team needs to move on. This it just had to be a breakup that has to happen. He's not a scrub. I don't think he's a scrub. He's still he's still a young quarterback that can still shine in this league. That's why the Panthers traded for him. That there's a reason he got traded and another team wanted him. So, um, you know, it definitely hurts. It definitely is still after even after his press conference, and so it's like very I don't know how to explain it. It just stings. It just stings so much that he's speaking in Carolina. He's in the back. There's a Carolina Panthers logo instead of a Jets logo behind him. I mean, it's weird. It's kind of weird that we drafted this guy and we were so hyped about him, and 3 years later he's gone. So, that's the thing about this new quarterback that's coming in. We just gotta, be on his side. We gotta look at him the right way. We gotta look at what's wrong with the team rather than the quarterback. Yeah, I mean, John hit it on the money. I know he loves Darnold. I know he loves Darnold a lot. So I'll be rooting for him.
Yeah, John, appreciate the donation, man, and enjoy your vacation on the beach, brother. Hope you're having a fantastic time, man. And V-Man is saying exactly what I was about to say. Whoever the Jets draft at quarterback, the Jets are a far better team structure-wise, coaching-wise, roster-wise, and resource-wise to help the quarterback succeed. V-Man, appreciate the donation as always. You took the words out of my mouth, bro. I was saying just before, if you take a trip down memory lane, the Jets draft Sam Darnold. We traded up to get Sam Darnold. We had the 6th overall pick, and we moved up to 3. We gave up like 3 second-round picks or something like that. It's 2 or 3 second-round picks. So we gave up our draft capital to go get him. So that took away our capital to build around him. The Jets, we had Todd Bowles, Jeremy Bates around him, and we know the history. I'm not going to go over each disaster year that Sam was there, but in long story short, he was set up for failure. Now, though, the Jets are in the complete opposite position to when they drafted Sam. We have, how many draft picks do we have? What is it, like 21 draft picks in the next 2 years? 9 of them, or what is it, 7 of them in the first 2 rounds, like in the next 2 years? It's absolutely insane how much draft capital we have, how much cap flexibility we have, and we have a brand new coaching staff that everybody is super confident in. We have an offensive scheme coming from San Francisco that is known to be one of the most successful offenses historically in the NFL with the Kyle Shanahan offense. We have Robert Saleh, who led the 49ers to a Super Bowl appearance in 2018 because that defense was lights out and its coaching is really that great. So he's a leader of men. We know how great Robert Saleh is, or at least we're hoping he is. We have the coaching staff. We have the resources. We have an actual quarterback coach, and we have a lot of things in order to build around this quarterback properly. That's something we did not have. So that gives me confidence in whoever we draft. It's like, hey, we have the resources to do it. And it's going to be really hard to mess this up. And that's what should give Jets fans a lot of hope and optimism going into this draft class, especially at the quarterback position. Because if you look at this, I tweeted this out earlier today. The Jets turned Leonard Williams, Jamal Adams, and Sam Darnold into 8 total picks. 2 first-round picks, 1 second-round pick, 2 third-round picks, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, 1 sixth. That's 3 players that Joe Douglas traded for 8 picks of his own. 2 of them in the first round, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. That is insane. So Joe Douglas came here, and he's slowly turning this into his own team, slowly putting his fingerprints all over the place. All right, which player do I not have confidence in? Which player do I not see, in the future? I think that each player that I mentioned, Leonard, Jamal, and Sam, at one point he felt like they had a future on this team, but then things went south. The year he came in, Leonard Williams, they understood, like, okay, we have Quinnen Williams. I think it'll be smart if we move on from Leo. He's a contract year. We're not going to give him a lot of money. Let's go trade him and get a 3rd and a 5th. Smart move. even though Leonard Williams is playing very good on the Giants and he got a big contract. And shout out to Leonard Williams. I love him as a person. He deserves, to thrive. Unfortunately, he's on the crosstown rival Giants, but still, Leonard Williams is not a scrub by any means. I feel like that needed to happen because the Jets at that time were not going to pay him that contract. And then Jamal Adams, we know what happened. Joe Douglas wanted him to become a Jet for life. He just did not want to extend him that summer. He wanted to wait till next year. Jamal Adams was like, nope, trade me. He turns him into 2 firsts and a third. Sam Darnold, at first when Joe Douglas came here, this is our franchise quarterback. But then Adam Gase was in the building, ruined him and said, hey, we have the 2nd overall pick right now. We have an ability to reset the clock on the quarterback position. We love this quarterback out of BYU, or we love this quarterback at Ohio State. Let's trade Sam for draft capital. So what Joe Douglas is doing to turn 3 players into 8 draft picks, he is really about to build this team properly. And it's so exciting because I've always said that the reason why the Jets failed all these years is because we try to win free agency. We trade up. We don't trade down. But hey, this is going to be a very interesting draft for the next 2 or 3 years with all this draft capital. So, Jack, what are your thoughts on Joe Douglas getting all these draft capital from even players like Steve McClendon we got a late-round pick for, even Willis we got a late-round pick for? It seems like Douglas is getting these draft picks and he's using these assets because he understands that there's so many holes all over this team and he needs to hit on these draft picks, and he knows it. So what are your thoughts on all this draft capital?
Well, yeah, you said it right at the end there. I mean, it's about him hitting on the picks now. 21 picks is amazing. It's phenomenal, and I can't even believe that we're in that position as an organization. But, if you don't hit on at least half of those picks, then it doesn't really matter much. Then I'd rather have, a happy Jamal Adams and a happy Leonard Williams playing well and a Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have a competitive team because you mentioned 8 picks for 3 first-rounders. Okay, that's fantastic. If we don't hit on those picks, though, I would have rather had those guys still around, still playing for the Jets, So, he's in an incredible position as a general manager, but it's you can only be patient for so long. We haven't been in the playoffs since I was like 11 years old. So, if he doesn't turn this team into a serious competitive playoff caliber team within the next 2 years, I'll be very upset, and I imagine that his job would be on the line at that point for sure. Because you got to hit on the picks, man. 21 picks is great. You got to hit on at least 50% of them, hopefully more.
Yeah, exactly. Now that we have all this draft capital, the next step is to hit on them. You can have all the picks in the world, but you can absolutely just, not hit on the picks. And I also feel like that 21 number is going to increase because Joe Douglas is going to trade down, not at 2, but at 23 he could, 34 he could. In the 3rd round, he could. Expect Joe Douglas to get even more draft picks because he knows there's a lot of holes all over this team. So, Oli, what are your thoughts on Joe Douglas having this draft capital, and how much confidence do you have in him hitting on these picks?
For the first time, I think we're actually doing it the right way. The first time I see him trying to get value out of players that could be helpful for other teams, and the players going to successful organizations and trying to go for a Super Bowl. And that's Steve McClendon right there. Halfway through the season where it was a dead season, we traded Steve McClendon. And I actually interviewed Steve McClendon. And afterwards, I talked to him. And he's like, he's thankful. He's thankful for the team to let him go, get a chance at going a ring. I know he's getting there. And he always wanted to win a ring. That's what every football player's dream is. So that goes a long way for a lot of, agents, players. And that vibe goes around the entire league that Joe Douglas did this for them in a dead Jet season, and I went to go win a Super Bowl. Same thing with Avery Williamson. He got traded. He went to the Steelers. He went to a undefeated team at that time and had a chance. That's pretty much what happened. So, we'll see how he hits on the picks, but right now I think he's actually GMing. He's actually working his magic to build this team the way he wants to and the way he knows. And the way he knows is how to win a championship. Eagles won a championship. Ravens are always competitive. It's about, being consistent throughout. And I know it's going to take some time. The last 2 off seasons he's been here, he's trying to remove all this crap out the door. Literally all the crap that's in this locker room organization, just kick it out. And he's finally football-minded guy is handling the business It's handling the team. And, it's just about hitting those picks. But right now, what we're looking at is a competitive team, a young team that's coming in, and a coaching staff that's young and eager to teach. So, I think that's a recipe of perfection, honestly, if they get it right. It's a big question mark if they get it right, but the future right now looks bright.
Yeah, exactly, man. I feel like the Jets have been in rebuild mode for a decade, and we've always said that, but it feels different now. The rebuild under Joe Douglas, I've said this ever since we hired him. I always notice this of him. He has a long-term vision, and that's so important because if you have a long-term vision, you set out your goals, you set out the cap, you set out the picks, and what you envision your team to be like in 3 years, he's manifesting it to existence. Other previous GMs, they really felt like, they were fighting for their jobs. The ownership was like, hey, we need to be winning next year. Like, get stars in the building. We need to be selling tickets, selling jerseys. Let's get to winning now. And it set the team back and back and back. And I feel like the Johnsons, they hired Joe Douglas and they said, hey, just do what you need to do. If it needs to take 3 to 5 years to get this right, do it. But I love that Joe Douglas is not cutting corners. He understands that building through the draft is what you need to do. His history is a draft scout, so he knows that it's important to hit on his draft picks. He has a lot of resources in the front office, with the Rex Hogan being his assistant GM from the Colts organization, who is one of the best, organizations in the draft usually every single year. So, you could talk about it all you want, but if you really want to get down to the gritty of it, like we said, you just need to hit on the picks. Do we have confidence in him? Yes. Is it unrealistic to say that he's going to hit on all of them? Yeah, I think you can't expect him to hit 21 draft picks in the next 2 years. I think we would really be hopeful. 50% would be great, but anything above that would be astronomical, because when you get a lot of players in the building in the draft and they are starters, that is huge. And we saw, out of all those picks I told you guys when we traded Leonard Williams, Sam Darnold, and Jamal Adams, the one player we got so far is Ashtyn Davis. So we got to use one of those picks yet, and that was last year's third rounder, and that was from the Leonard Williams trade. So we got Ashtyn Davis in the building. Now let's see who else we get from the Sam Darnold, Jamal Adams trade. We're going to see who we get from Jamal Adams this year with that 23rd pick and in the third round, and then next year we have a first. So we're turning Jamal into 3 players, and 3 players that are going to be in the top 3 of the draft. Those 3 players should be starters. And then next year, we got a 2nd-round pick for Sam and a 4th-round pick for Sam. And this year of his 6th. So, if we can turn these assets into starting caliber players and depth players, that's going to be huge. And I just have a lot of confidence, and I'm really excited that we have so much resources to just build this team, because we have so many holes and so many problems on this team. It's just insane. So let's get into what the Jets are going to do later on in the draft, because obviously we know what position we're taking at number 2, whether it's going to be whoever it's going to be. We know it's a quarterback, right? But what the hell are we going to do at 23 or 34? There's so many opportunities. There's a lot of situations. Who the hell is even going to fall? Who's going to be available? We don't know. It's going to be very interesting. So we're going to get into that. But if you guys are new to the stream and you guys are not smashed that thumbs up button yet, please make sure you do so. We got 49 likes. Let's get this over 100 likes before the stream ends. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to Elite and Jack. Their YouTube channels are down below in the description. And if you guys want to check out Touchdown Kingdom, my latest mock draft that Jack and I came up with is down below in the description. Appreciate that a ton. And with that being said, let's get into it. So 23, right? I think the position that we all know that is a big need is interior offensive line, cornerback. Those are the 2 holes that we did not address in free agency yet. So, Jack, which position would you rather the Jets tackle? Say, I don't know. Which position? Obviously, it's hard to speculate because we don't know who the hell is going to be available, whether Elijah Vera-Tucker falls to 23 or Caleb Farley falls to 23, Greg Newsome, or you want to take an edge rusher if one of those really speedy edge rushers come and just absolutely stack the defensive front to be the next sack exchange, or do you want to get a receiver for the rookie? What's your mindset, and what do you expect the Jets to do at 23?
I've been saying it for a while now, and I still think I still feel the same way. I think that Joe Douglas is going to have to grab the best available interior offensive lineman at 23. And I honestly picture, although he could trade back from 34, but I would really prefer him prefer it if he didn't trade back and honestly just grabbed the best available corner at 34. So we got quarterback, offensive line, corner, 3 early picks in the draft, 3 positions that we need. And I would love it if he hit the first 3 picks of the draft like that. I think he's definitely going to trade back at some point. I wouldn't be that angry if he traded back the 34th pick. I don't want him to trade it back super far because I still think we need to grab top tier cornerback and interior offensive line talent in the first 2 rounds of this draft. So if he traded back a little further into the second round, but not too far, and we could still grab a cornerback, I'd be happy with that. I don't really want us to grab a receiver until I guess maybe the 3rd round, you'd say. I think that our receiving core is pretty solid for this year, and it's still a little bit of a question mark in some areas, but I think, certainly not as much as the offensive line or the cornerback spot. So definitely offensive lineman 23, cornerback at 34, or vice versa, honestly. If the cornerbacks start coming off the board super fast and Joe Douglas wants to grab Greg Newsome or somebody like that, then that would be dope at 23, and then we'll grab the offensive lineman at 34. But I think definitely those 2 positions rather than another edge rusher, which would be sick. But I just think that we can't afford to do that right now. I definitely expect to take another defensive lineman in the draft at some point, whether it's somebody on the edge or another interior defensive lineman. Definitely at some point in the draft, because it wouldn't be a Jets draft without a defensive lineman being drafted at least once. So I definitely expect that, but not too early in the draft. So to answer your question, offensive lineman 23, cornerback 34, I'd be hyped.
Yeah, I think that's the, what we're all expecting. I think every single Jets fan would agree with you right there. I'm going to try to think of another position that maybe could surprise us because, hey, it's not guaranteed we take a corner or offensive lineman, even though it feels like every single Jets fan's on board. What's came to my mind recently that could be possible, I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. Their curveballs come out of nowhere. But what if they really fall in love with what's his name? A linebacker, middle linebacker, because if CJ Mosley's on the trade block, and we signed Jared Davis, we have Blake Cashman. Robert Saleh needs a quarterback of the defense. I don't know if they're sold on CJ Mosley to be the future. Maybe they want to snag their future middle linebacker, the quarterback of the defense, in the late first round or even at 34. I feel like that could be possible. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but I just want to keep my mind open to every single possibility because I wouldn't be shocked. Rather, that's what I want to say. I wouldn't be shocked if they decide to get a linebacker, but I don't think that's a more position need than offensive line or corner at all. I think that I'd rather go offensive line, but I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked. So, Ali, what are your thoughts on the Jets picking at 23? And yeah, just give your thoughts on who do you think they're going to pick and anybody that you might think they could take that would surprise us.
I would pretty much, honestly, I'll go either cornerback or lineman at 23. Newsome probably. If he's there, I'll take him Farley. But I would not be surprised if they grab an edge rusher. If one of those edge rushers slip, the elite ones, I think they could grab one because Salah loves to blitz. Salah likes to get to the quarterback, and it's proven fact that when you have a solid rush and a solid run defense, and you get to the quarterback often, the cornerbacks play better. It's a proven fact. And I think there's a lot of cornerbacks in this draft I think you can grab late. And I would not be surprised if they grab an edge rusher, especially, with this defensive minded coach coming in. I think that I wouldn't mind that because in the cornerbacks, I feel like we'll have more chance to get into coverage and make a play. And cornerbacks just play better when the pass rush is getting to the quarterback, and we haven't had a pass rush in a long, long time, and that's why our cornerbacks suck. So, I would not mind that pick, but I think the more realistic pick would probably be like Farley, Newsome, and hopefully if ABT somehow falls down, you grab him there. And then 34, whichever position you don't get, either a cornerback or lineman, take him at 34. I can see them trading down. I really can at 34. I don't know about 23 because I think there's gonna be value players at 23 still there, for the Jets to draft. But if they somehow get like a big time offer from some team, like I feel like the Chiefs maybe could move up or someone like that, and grab whatever player they want. I think Douglas might entertain that call. But overall, I think it's gonna be either a cornerback or a lineman. I think an edge rusher could be in the mix right there, depending on how the draft board falls, 34 or whatever is available. So I think, yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah, man, I agree. We got a donation from Mike. Thank you so much, brother. 23 at number 23, go edge. It's only going to help our secondary. Do not need an elite corner. 34 and 66 interior offensive line, Landon or Trey Smith. We can also get a solid corner at 85 like a Debo. So yeah, I mean, there's so many different opportunities for us at 23, and that is Robert Saleh's mantra, and that's what Robert Saleh idolizes his defense off is you don't need top tier talent at corner if you have the best pass rush possible, because let's just envision that. Say we do go edge at 23. We get like Azeez Ojulari, whatever you say his last name, or, one of these really talented edge rushers, and we put him on the other side of Carl Lawson. And then we have the depth that we have with the rotational pieces. That's like scary good. That's just ridiculous. I don't even want to put my mind there because that would just make me go crazy. But hey, that's like a position where it's like, are we going to like triple down on our already strength? Like that's our strength right now. The best position group on the Jets is the defensive front, is the edge rushers, and the run stopping on the interior defensive line. Are we going to double down and go even crazier and get an edge? You could, but you never know what they're going to do. I also don't think, like you said, Ali, I think it's possible that the Jets trade down from 23 because a team like the Chiefs or somebody that's like later on in the draft, like the Saints, they're a win now mindset team. Say there's somebody available at 23 they love, and they want to move up 5 spots or 6 spots, and we do that pick, and we trade from 23 down to 28 or down to 31, and we get an extra second this year. That's, that's smart, in my opinion. I feel like the more players, the better. And I know Joe Douglas would love that. That's not guaranteed it happens, but it's definitely possible. Say we move down 6 spots from 23 to, say, 27, 28. We still get the best corner or interior offensive lineman available, and then we have the 34th pick, and then we have an additional second-round pick from them. So that's possible. That's why I feel like it's going to be interesting to see if they trade down. Mike says Jalen Phillips is the best edge guaranteed. Yeah, Jalen Phillips is a stud. We actually just came out on Touchdown Kingdom, our top 5 edge rushers in the draft, Jack and I. So go check that out. That's over on Touchdown Kingdom if you're interested. But Jack, what's your thoughts on the Jets potentially trading down from 23 if they can get like an extra second-round pick and they trade down to later in the 28s? Would you be open to that?
Yeah, I would be open to that for sure. I mean, I still think it gives us an opportunity to cash in on the premier talent that we need to at the positions that we need. And I feel like you definitely can't rule it out. We're talking about Joe Douglas here, and we know that this is what he loves to do. This is what he looks forward to doing is just acquiring as much draft capital as he can. So hopefully we'll see it pay off in the next couple of seasons. But yeah, I wouldn't be angry if we traded back and got an extra second or something like that for sure.
So what are other positions that we should tackle later on in the draft? Say 4th, 5th, 6th round. So, say we go interior offensive line heavy, we get a corner. Say we go receiver 3rd round. What other positions do you think we should focus on? Is it a tight end? Is it a linebacker? Is it a receiver like I mentioned? Is it a fullback? Kicker? Another tight end. I mean, listen, there's so many holes on this team that you never know. We can probably draft 2 corners because we don't have a slot corner. We don't have an outside corner. So, Ali, what other positions do you think the Jets are going to be targeting later on in the draft and say besides the cornerbacks and besides the interior offensive line?
I could see a running back like 5th round or 5th round, a running back there. I like Gainwell a lot. I like Trey Sermon. I do like him there. I can also see another wideout. A lot of people are not saying that we're going to need a wideout, but I can see them grabbing at least one more. I can see them getting a tight end because we have absolutely no idea about what's going on with Chris Herndon. I think he's going to be fighting for his job in training camp, and I think he could be a surprise cut. I think they're going to keep him, though, but I think he could be a surprise cut that a lot of people won't be seeing. I could see them taking a kicker with that pick they got from Sam Darnold, because they do need a kicker. I can't see Ficken anymore on that field. I just can't. We need to get a solidified. Same thing we did with Braden Mann as punter. We got him, and that was a solid pick for us. Get a kicker in this draft. Get the best kicker in this draft, and solidify that. And I could see maybe another edge rusher if they don't go with the 23 route that I was saying. I think they can maybe pick another edge rusher, a linebacker. I can maybe even see a safety later on. I can see them picking up a safety if they acquire more picks. Get some safety if they with Ashton Davis, Marcus May, and get another rookie. Because we don't know. If they don't get a deal done with Marcus May, we could lose Marcus May after the season. So if they want to solidify that safety position, they can get another safety that they want and bring him in and see what happens there. So I think those are probably the other positions they could possibly target.
Yeah, I think safety is an interesting position because we got LaMarcus Joyner. He's going to be, the new Bradley McDougald in a way. It's a veteran 1-year deal. He's not the future. Ashton Davis, we're looking at, we're hopeful that he can become the future starter safety on the Jets. And like you said, Marcus May, he's on a franchise tag. He can go off this year, and he could walk next year in free agency, or we just franchise tag him again if the Jets really want to do that. So I would definitely be open to drafting a safety so we can get Ashton and then a rookie, and maybe the rookie we draft this year, and Ashton could be the future safeties. For the New York Jets secondary, I think that'll be fun. Listen, man, there's so many different positions like tight end, like you mentioned. There's so many opportunities. The only guy we really brought in is Tyler Kroft in free agency. So the depth chart's Chris Herndon, Ryan Griffin, Wesco, and Kroft. I don't think we can look at anybody on that tight end group and be happy and be looking forward to. Obviously, we're hopeful Herndon can be post-Adam Gase curse, just like Mike Gesicki, where he looked like a bum in Miami and then Gase leaves and then he blows up. You never know. And, hey, the tight end position is a really pivotal part of the LaFleur offense, and I feel like Herndon is going to thrive just because of that reason, and with the new quarterback under center and with a whole new system, and everything's going to be new. So, Jack, what position do you think that the Jets should target outside of corner and interior offensive line later on in the draft?
I think definitely kicker, last pick of the draft. Definitely down for that. The running back position really intrigues me. What you said, Ali, before, maybe fifth, late fourth or fifth round, or even sixth round. I definitely expect another receiver to be brought in the middle rounds as well. And another position that really intrigues me is the linebacker spot. We know we brought in Gerard Davis. We have high hopes for him in the Robert Saleh defense. But we don't know what we're going to get out of CJ Mosley at all. So I think to bring in another body there. Blake Cashman is a guy that went down last year, and I was really upset about that. I had high hopes for Blake Cashman to really have kind of a breakout year last year. So that linebacker spot is definitely a giant question mark on the defense. I still think it can be solid with the players we have now if they just show up, stay healthy, and play well. But as of right now, it still is a little bit of a question mark. So that's definitely an intriguing thing to think about in the middle rounds of the draft, as well as that linebacker spot. Ali, I know you want a fullback. I'd rather bring in a running back. I mean, I guess we could do both, but I feel like with Tevin Coleman and LaMichael Pirine and Ty Johnson, similar to the tight ends you just listed off, Rich, there's not really a name there that gets me super excited, thinking like, okay, that guy's a stud. I see potential in Pirine and Ty Johnson. I think we know what we're going to get out of Tevin Coleman at this point in his career. But I still think that running back room could use a fresh body in there for some competition in camp, even if it's just for that sake, see if Pirine and Ty Johnson really have something special in there. So I think that there's, a lot of positions I still think that obviously the offensive line and the corners are the biggest positions of need. But there's a ton of room for improvement all over the roster. You know, you guys spoke about the tight ends and the running backs, and I think we'll definitely add another receiver. Kicker for sure. I really want a kicker, man, because we saw what that kid Tyler Bass did for the Bills last year. So let's get one of our own, man. I'm tired of having special teams woes on the Jets, and you know, this will help us, you know, stay in some close games and win some close games, because we need to start learning how to finish games. So yeah, I think that pretty much all the positions you guys listed obviously are going to be looked at by Joe Douglas, and I wouldn't be surprised if he brought in another edge, maybe towards the middle of the draft, or definitely an interior defensive lineman somewhere on the defensive line as well. There'll be somebody drafted. So yeah, a lot of new faces coming in. It's always an exciting time. I just cannot wait, man. We're like less than 3 weeks away.
I know, guys.
We're talking about this moment for so long.
Yes, sir. We're going to be live on Jets Media for every single pick that the New York Jets will be selecting. The entire first, we're going to be live like probably 2 hours before the draft. We're going to make like an entire draft party, and we'll have like a pregame show, and then we're going to be live throughout the draft. We're going to get our live reactions to the draft, and then that's Thursday night. And then Friday night, we'll be live for the entire second round. I think it's second and third. And then
Second and third, yeah.
Yeah, and then Saturday during the day is 5th, 6th, and 7th. So we'll be live throughout the entire draft, and you guys can, you know, tune in over there on Jets Media, and it's going to be fun because I know you're going to see our live reactions for every single pick. I guarantee there's going to be some picks where we're like, what? You know? Like that happens every single year. No matter how much research and homework I do on these draft classes, every single year the Jets always take somebody I've never heard of. And I'm like, oh, I was expecting this player, because we all do our mock drafts. We all want this player, that player, but it's all fun. It's all fun and games. So it's going to be exciting. That is literally 2 weeks from now, 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to be really, really fun to see what the Jets are going to do in the draft. As we know, there's a lot of speculation on what they're going to do when all the draft picks, like you guys just said. So yes, we'll be live throughout the entire draft here on Jets Media. So stay tuned for that. If you guys want to, you know, ask us any questions, we're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A. So feel free to do so in the chat. Ask us any type of questions related to the New York Jets, related about life, related about, you know, Jack McGalley music,
Star Wars.
Star Wars. I know Ali wants to talk about that. The Knicks, you know.
The Knicks, man. RJ Barrett. Killing it from beyond the arc.
Killing it in the clutch, baby. Ali's scared tonight.
I'm not scared, bro.
Yeah, you are. Terrified.
I found myself on Ben Stiller's Twitter this morning because it came up on my feed. I didn't realize he was such a diehard Knicks fan.
I love it. He's just like, yes, at
so
RJ
dope.
Barrett.
Yeah, it's so dope.
I know. See, Louis knows. RJ Barrett, baby. Yo, I was going crazy. I was at that, for those guys who don't know, I was at that Memphis Grizzlies Knicks game on Friday night, and I witnessed that was probably the best Knicks game I've ever been to ever. The Knicks looked terrible all throughout the game, and then RJ just takes over, forces overtime, and we got a really, really interesting game tonight against the Anthony Davis and LeBron James list Los Angeles Lakers, who just blew out the Brooklyn Nets.
You guys should win, man. We have no one. I don't think Kuzma's playing. I think Schroeder's not playing.
You guys just blew out the Nets with KD and Kyrie. So
Kyrie got ejected while Schroeder got ejected at the same time. So we lost both our point guards there. And then, I mean, KD was out there for like 20 minutes, I think. And then
yeah, but that's still an impressive win, man, for sure.
Yeah, I was shocked.
I'm not gonna overhype a regular season game.
It's not like they won by 2 points.
I still want overhype.
They blew them out.
We got a lot of work to do. I mean, we have no one on playing today. Literally no one. So you guys should win. You guys should win.
It's not even that we should win. It's we need to win, because this playoff race is getting chippy, and I'm nervous. And woo. All right, guys. Any questions? Let us know, because we're talking about, you know, the New York Knicks right now on a Jets channel. Also, I went to a Mets game Saturday, and I just witnessed greatness being wasted. Brilliance, greatness. I got a ball from the game, and I just witnessed greatness. Jacob deGrom. Oh my gosh. I wish I can just hug you, Jake, and I'm so sorry, Jacob. You don't deserve this, man. You don't deserve it. You need run support. Aiden, if we don't draft Zach Wilson, I'm committing suicide. Aiden, come on, man. Don't worry. I'll calm your nerves, Aiden.
Yeah, don't do that, Aiden.
Zach Wilson will be the Jets quarterback. I just feel it. I appreciate the donation, Aiden, but you can get your Zach Wilson jersey. Just buy it now. I feel like it's pretty much solidified. He's the quarterback. I actually just got off the phone with Joe Douglas before the stream. So
yeah,
you heard it here. Sources from Jets media. I have inside sources with the Jets.
They're committed to his family.
I'm totally kidding.
What does that mean? What does that mean, though? I mean, I think he's going to be the quarterback, but what does that mean? They committed to his family. What? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
it's a crazy thing to make a big
Douglas
deal
got
about.
asked about that, and he said, "No, there's not too much to read into that." Blah blah blah. And then he said, "Steve Young is very in tune with BYU, though," and he was smiling. And I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah, he's gonna be the guy for sure, and I'll have to support it, and I will support it. I will be a man of my word, man. I will be all in on Zach Wilson if he is drafted.
Let's do it.
We'll see the reaction. We'll see the live reaction of Jack on draft day.
I'm not gonna be screaming yes, but I'll be like, all right, word. Let's get it done now. Let's see something. Let's see something productive.
But let's go to September and watch them play, though. I don't want to wait all summer.
It's gonna be dead from end of the draft until the start of camp.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so dead.
We're going. If you guys are down, I want to go to the home opener. I think it's gonna be week 1 this year because last year it was in Buffalo. So if you guys are down to get tickets, I'm down the tailgate and go crazy.
Down for that. Do you think they'll let? Do they even still do that? I know they used to do that at Hofstra. Do they let people go and watch practice?
Yeah, it depends, but it's COVID rules now.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
I wonder. I didn't know if they did it at all, but then I figured COVID, they might.
Yeah,
not
they
be
used to.
doing it
Yeah,
anyway.
they used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they used to do it right, literally 5 minutes away from where me and Rich live.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they have open practices this year, 100% going.
100%.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
Are we gonna beat the Eagles this year?
Yes.
So the Eagles, I've never beat the Eagles ever. We're 0 something.
We beat
and we are versing them in week 17 at home. Jack, are we beating the Philadelphia Eagles?
Yes, sir.
100%.
We're not going to beat them. We're going to blow them out.
Yes, sir.
100%, man.
I love it.
I hope so.
I'm
hoping for just finally just watching competitive football,
with energy on the sidelines.
Yeah.
With looking at the sidelines, that's a coaching staff, that's great. These guys are going to get head coaching jobs somewhere else eventually down the line. All of our assistants. That's a good thing, guys. It's not a bad thing if that happens.
I cannot wait to see Quinnen Williams just absolutely destroy whoever is blocking him and then absolutely destroy the quarterback. And then Robert Saleh punches Quinnen in the face as hard as he can.
Headbutt, bro.
And then Mekhi comes and just tackles them both. This is going to be a great time, man. This is going to be such a different feel around the Jets organization, energy-wise. And I don't know, man. Having Woody back, everything feels different. The Christopher Johnson days were terrible. The Christopher Johnson days, I don't think he should make any business decisions for the Jets ever again. He was demoted to assistant active owner, which is good. Now Woody's in charge. I don't think they have to make any decisions anymore because Joe Douglas is in charge and they just hired a new coach. But Christopher Johnson should go be the ambassador of Johnson & Johnson or something like that. Go make sure the vaccines are doing good, Christopher, because you hired Gase and everything you said in the press conference. I remember you were saying stuff and I'm all right, Woody's brother's smart. Okay, I believe in this guy. Man, I was wrong. Can you do more Knicks streams on your second channel? Yeah, man. I was actually thinking of doing a Knicks stream today during the day, but I ended up not doing it. And I was going to stream the Lakers-Knicks game, but I'm actually going live on Green Bean's channel tonight, so I couldn't do that. So it's tough. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm trying to do some streams. So stay tuned for that, man. Appreciate the donation.
I think I'm on Green Bean next week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's a good dude.
he's a good dude. I'm excited.
I love Green Bean.
Can you do record prediction? Mine is 12-5.
No record prediction. I don't even know who our freaking quarterback is, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe ask me that after we draft.
After week one. After week
Wow, look at
one,
my
when
hair,
I know
bro.
what
What
this
the
team
hell is
looks
that?
like.
You're looking good, Rich. You're looking
You like
good
the
as
hat
hell,
hair?
man.
Look at that hat hair. Yo, I don't know if 12-5 is realistic, but Roger, woo, I hope so. That will be nuts. I mean, Louis thinks we're going 17-0.
I mean, if Zach Wilson goes freaking 12-5, oh my lord. I think New York media is gonna explode.
I would explode. I wouldn't be alive anymore, man.
This place would explode, bro.
That would mean that we're in the playoffs at 12-5.
For sure.
Maybe the division, bro.
What are you guys doing for draft night? Anthony, I said this earlier on in the stream, but we're going to be live on Jets Media throughout the entire draft. Every single draft pick, you'll see our live reaction to it. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be really fun. We're going to buckle down and have a great experience, right?
But if you're asking what I'll be doing, I'll be drinking heavily and I'll be eating buffalo chicken dip. That's
Nice.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, for sure. Buffalo wings.
Yeah.
Some corn and bean salsa.
Yeah, some of that cowboy caviar. Yeah, let's get some of that going.
That was so funny. I forgot which game that was. We were
Which
just
live
eating it.
stream was that? Me and Rich, like, the game was so boring. Like, the Jets were getting blown out, and me and Rich just like couldn't stop talking about how good this freaking salsa was on the live stream. Bodying salsa.
Yeah, man. Hopefully by like when the season comes around, COVID really is, chilling, or whatever word you want to use. It's not there as much, because then we can really have like, because I want to meet you guys. I want to meet some of my subscribers. Haven't met any of you yet. I'm planning on going to games and then trying to like tailgate, and I want to live stream. Like, I have this vision. I have a plan where I bring my equipment there somehow. I bring like a portable Wi-Fi router and my camera, and I can set up like a live stream of the tailgate. And for those guys that are not at the game, you guys can watch it. And anybody that's at the game can pull up to the parking lot, whatever. We can all have a good time and get rowdy before the Jets blow out the Bills, So that's what I want to do. Hopefully that can happen. I know that there's definitely going to be fans at the Jets game, but hopefully the capacity can go up by the time we're in September.
For sure.
And I want to see the schedule, man. I know who our opponents are, but let's see who we versing on prime time, who we versing week one, who we versing at the end of the year. I'm nervous. Schedules.
Panthers is definitely going to be prime time. It's going to probably be a Thursday Night Football, Jets Panthers.
Yeah. Like, watch Sam just go off against us. 5 touchdowns, 400 yards.
It's going to happen, man. It would be the most Jets thing of all time if we just got absolutely blown out by Sam Darnold on primetime football this year. Like, that would be the most New York Jets thing to ever happen.
It would be.
I'd be crying. I'd be laughing. I'd be furious. Like, every emotion.
I'll just be happy. I'll be like, whatever.
Every emotion would be soaring through my veins.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll be rooting for Sam all season long. But, against the Jets, I can't root for Sam. I hope he individually plays well, but we got to beat you, Sam. Come on. We need dubs, obviously. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see the Jets versus him. It's crazy that luckily, I mean, I'll take that back. I wish it was at home, because I wish we were going to that game. I would be sick. But hey, whatever. I think the Jets' schedule is definitely way easier than last year. Last year's schedule was
brutal.
It's brutal. Hey, man, maybe one time we can like set up a time where, all of you guys in the chat and Jets Twitter or whatever, we can like buy out a whole section of a Jets game, and we're just all getting rowdy together. That'd be sick.
You know what I really want this year? You know what I really want? I want to go at least 500 against the division. Like, I want to beat every division rival at least one time. And, like, I really think we could do it. Obviously, the Bills are going to be the biggest challenge, but if we're competitive within the division and we can just talk a little smack to some Bills and Dolphins and Pats fans,
I'm calling it right now. I'm 2-0
I'm
against
down.
Patriots, bro.
That would be insane.
Edelman just got released. Edelman's gone. So
yeah, they brought in a lot of free agents, but like, I don't know. Didn't they
this
give?
is the first. Yeah, they gave a lot of money to tight
Didn't they give Aguilar more money than we gave to Corey Davis or something like that?
Yeah,
That's insane. That's absurd.
I mean, that would be absolutely sick. I think 3-3 is what we want.
Cam Newton just sucks.
Yeah, and they have a lot of talent now. So I think the Dolphins are going to be hard to beat because their defense is really good. But we got to beat them once. We got to beat the Bills once. I'm so sick of losing to the Bills.
I hate the Bills. The Bills are the worst. And I feel like I respect the Dolphins for doing it correctly, though. They built their team correctly. They made the right moves correctly, and they have a plan.
Though, man. The Bills too, though, bro. You got to give it to them as an organization. Believe me, and Richie went to school up there in Bills country. Like we realized that Bills fans are worse than Patriots fans. It's crazy. So you gotta hand it to them as an organization, though, man. Nobody thought Josh Allen was gonna be arguably the best quarterback to come out of that draft. And here he is.
Yeah, and that's all because of what they did to surround him. Obviously, Josh Allen has a lot of talent himself, but you don't get that talent out of him without the way they structure their organization around him. And getting Stephon Diggs helped him get to that level, obviously. And, we're giving our rookie quarterback, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder. That's a solid 3 receivers, but we need depth. I like Keelan Cole, but there's going to be injuries. We saw last year, Denzel Mims, Brashad Perriman, Jamison Crowder. Our top 3 receivers were injured for a lot of times, and Sam was throwing to a lacrosse player. Yeah. So let's not let that happen again, right?
Penn State lacrosse, baby.
He's throwing to a lacrosse player, man. Gosh.
Insane.
But I think, or at least I hope, the Jets are going to learn from their mistakes and get depth at that position, because the wide receiver position is one of those groups where you need a lot of players there. It's not like, one of those positions where it's just you're in. Like the offensive line, there's a left tackle, there's a right tackle, but wide receivers, you can have a lot of depth there, and we need it. We haven't had depth at that position in a long time. I love their top 4 receivers right now. I actually do. Corey Davis, Denzel, Jamison, and Keelan Cole. But outside of those top 4, who else do we got? Vincent Smith, he couldn't stay healthy last year. He looks like a guy that, me and Ali interviewed, so I have a little bias towards him. But Jeff Smith, former quarterback, looked pretty terrible last year. So we'll see what our wide receiver group is going to do. Yeah. So any other questions?
In the receiver position, I feel like just because of how they're taking hits and they're, running at full speed, I feel like the receiver position is a position that tends to deal with injuries more than some other positions on the football field. So definitely to have as much depth in the receiver room as possible, because I wanted to, love guys like Jeff Smith by the end of the season last year. And then I think he had remember that one game where everybody's like, oh my God, Jeff Smith looks good. Like, who's this guy, Jeff Smith? Like, he was all over the field. And then, it was just a disgraceful performance from everybody in that receiver room for the rest of the year, besides a couple standout plays from Mims. But, the lack of balls even thrown Mims' way last year was just, infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. I cannot watch another 5-yard out route thrown to Braxton Berrios ever in my life. If I see that again, I'm just turning the TV off, and I'm just not watching the rest of the game. It was pathetic, man. Me and Richie were sitting there predicting everything that was going to happen. Frank Gore up the middle. Next play, little out route to Berrios. That's a pick 6. It's garbage. So I don't know where I'm even going with this, but
you're going everywhere, man. You have every right.
There you go. Jeff Smith, Chris Hogan, bro. Lawrence Cager. What's going on?
I actually forgot about Braxton Berrios. He was not bad last year
He
for a
wasn't
backup
bad,
slot
but
receiver.
like he's
Every
not a
time-
starting receiver.
No, yeah, I think I'd like him as the backup slot behind Jameson. Whenever Jameson was injured and Braxton played, he had a touchdown. I felt like if you look at the two Sam Darnold highlight plays from last year, the crazy touchdown against the Colts and the crazy touchdown against the 49ers were to Braxton Berrios.
Yeah.
I love Berrios. I feel like he's a little stud, like a little little beast. I don't know. I just like him. I feel like he's a very
I like him too. I think he plays with a chip on his shoulder. But I don't think he's a starting caliber receiver.
Yeah, I mean, neither. He's a guy that's going to provide depth that I should have mentioned when I was talking about the wide receiver depth. That's why I'm bringing him up, because he deserves some.
He deserves some recognition for sure.
Yeah, and he's an okay punt returner, but not the best. We got Keelan Cole probably going to return punts, or even Ashton Davis, even though he didn't really look that good returning punts or kicks. I remember his first time he ever, what was it, against the Bills or something? He like returned the kick, he tried to hurdle someone and fumbled. Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Ashton.
Stupid.
We gotta go back on Ashton's live streams and talk to him. Be like, yo, Ashton, what's good, bro? What up, Richie?
He's on Twitch. I remember one time, as soon as that famous night in recent Jets history when we gave it up in the final seconds to the Raiders, and we fired Greg Williams. I asked Ashton on one of his Twitch streams. I'm like, yo, Ashton, Frank Bush or Greg Williams? And he read it. He's like, yo, Jack, chill. So, because obviously, he can't say anything he's not supposed to talk about the team at all, like in a setting like that. And I remember it wasn't even like a mod or something. It was like a message from like Twitch itself or something like that popped up in the chat saying like, please refrain from asking any questions about New York Jets coaching staff. So I was like, oh, all right. I effed up. My bad, Ashton. He's low-key a beast on Call of Duty though. If you actually watch him play, like he's filthy. Like it's insane. He's like better than me and you. Like, it's crazy.
He was just like talking. I remember asking him like, yo, what up, Ashton? Like, what are your thoughts on Marcus May? And he was like, yo, Marcus May, he was talking about it for 5 minutes, and he was just like, like just absolutely melting in Call of Duty, just talking to me. I was like laughing so hard.
So funny.
What up, Nick? We got Nick in the chat, my buddy.
Nick.
I wish Nick would join the stream one day, but he's too cool for us. Right,
Too
Nick?
cool for school.
Come on, Nick. We need you to join in the stream one day. I don't care if you're in your pajamas or whatever you do all day. You know I love teasing you. He was texting me today. He's like, yo, so how's everybody? I love you, and I love Jack, and I love Ali. But
Gang.
Social anxiety. Come on, man. We're all friends. We're all Jets fans. There's no need to be anxious. Come on, Nick. You know more about the Jets than any of us. That's why we need you on here.
Does he actually?
No.
Oh.
He's just I'm just joking. He knows his shit, obviously. He's a big Jets fan. But
is he? Oh, all right. So he's a Jets fan. I thought he might have. I thought he might have been like
Jets fan.
I thought he might have been like a Bills guy or something like that.
I remember when I was at Brockport freshman year, and he was walking around with a Calvin Pryor jersey. I remember always looking at him like, yo, that kid's dope. He's wearing a Calvin Pryor jersey. I think it was Calvin Pryor, right, Nick? And then I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's just funny.
I was alone, dude. Both of my roommates were from upstate, but they were both Giant fans for some reason. They weren't from like the Buffalo area. They were from like the Albany area. So they were Giants fans. So I was like literally the only Jets fan like I knew up there. Tough times, man. Tough times.
Yeah, I barely had any.
Alone in the middle of Bills Mafia country.
And then you drove without GPS to meet me at the Jets.
Oh my God. Game. That's a crazy story, man.
It is
insane.
The 2016, the year after the Jets went 10-6, I was in college upstate and Jack was in college in Buffalo, and we met to go to that Thursday night game against the Bills when Matt Forte had 3 touchdowns, Eric Decker, Quincy Nunwa, and Brandon Marshall all at 100 yards, and we beat the Bills. That was a sick game, and Jack had to drive to the stadium without a GPS.
I had to drive home without a GPS because my phone was a piece of crap at the time, and it would just die randomly at like 20%. and then it would take forever to turn back on if it was dead for a long time. So my phone died in the middle of the first quarter. And then, by the end of the game, my phone was just not turning on in the car charger. So like 8 hours away from home in the middle of nowhere, upstate New York, like pitch black, no street lights, anything. I have to like navigate my way 45 minutes back to where I lived at the dorm. And it was just a gnarly experience, man. Like I thought, I'm like, all right, this is it for me. Like I'm gonna die. And I saw an exit on the freeway that said like last exit for 40 miles. So I'm like, hell nah. So I just skirted over 3 lanes and just hopped on that exit, and then just asked some lady at the toll booth, and she gave me vague directions. And it took like 2 hours for me to make like a 45-minute long drive. And yeah, all because of the dedication I have to the New York Jets, man. And I heard a lot of negative comments, we'll call them, coming my way as I was dressed in full Jets attire on my solo walk back to my car. And it was a crazy experience, man. It's definitely cool going to an away game. If you guys get the opportunity to do that, I would jump at it, because it's very cool going to another stadium and seeing, other fans and how they do things in their stadiums. Just a really cool experience going to an away game.
Yeah, going to a away game is really fun. And like, for those guys that don't know what we're talking about, we're just talking about Jack and I went to college upstate New York. So we went to a lot of Buffalo Bills versus New York Jets games. I went to 3, actually. And they're wild. I'll never forget. I was tailgating. I was wearing my Darrelle Revis jersey, and a Bills fan was like, "Yo, Revis, go long." And I was like, "Oh, word, a Bills fan being nice." Like, yeah, I'm down. And like, I'm running a route, and then he's about to throw him the football, and he drops the ball. He flips me off. He's like, "Fuck the Jets." I was like, "Oh wow, Bills fans."
It's upsetting, man. You ran the route and everything.
Yeah, I really thought because the whole
I'd
time
be
I'm
tight.
so out of place.
I'd
I
be
was like,
furious.
I took a bus there of entire Bills fans, and yeah, and he went to UB.
UB.
That's mess. Richie, what's your favorite Darnold moment? It has to be the game I went to, that Buffalo Bills game in Buffalo, his rookie season. I was 1 row from the field when Sam Darnold had that comeback, the game-winning drive, when he had that ridiculous touchdown when he rolled all the way to his right and then went all the way to his left and threw it to Robbie Anderson in the end zone. And then later on in the game, in the clutch, had that ridiculous dart to Robbie Anderson, like 40 yards down the line. And then they got a touchdown to Elijah McGuire. So that's definitely my favorite Darnold moment, just because I was there in attendance and I was front row. And I remember wearing my Darnold jersey, and I looked behind me when it happened, when the Jets won. And I was just like, all the Bills fans are throwing stuff at me. I was like, yeah, fuck the Bills. And they're like, oh. And I was like, Sam Darnold's better than Josh Allen. Oh, good times.
Oh, man.
Depressing.
What a shame, dude. I would have to say my favorite Darnold moment would either be his first ever start, overcoming crazy adversity. His first NFL throw was a freaking pick 6. And then he came back on primetime football and obliterated the Detroit Lions. And that was great. Or even the last month or so stretch of his rookie year, he looked really good, man.
And toe-to-toe Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, we thought that we really found our guy at that point. And then who came into the building next year? Adam Gase. I don't even want to say his name anymore. I wish I could delete that name from my memory bank and from my vocabulary.
What's your favorite Darnold moment, Ali?
I would probably say the Rodgers game, going toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers. That's when I thought he was gonna be the franchise quarterback, going against Aaron Rodgers, having that poise. I think he threw for 340 yards or something like that. I think he had 4 touchdowns, and he had I think that was his career high that game, and that's where I thought damn, this kid's good. I mean, this guy's gonna be the future, and then went downhill from there.
Yeah, man. I remember last year I was at Rolling Loud when Rolling Loud was in New York City, and it was during the Jets-Cowboys game, and it was eating me alive. I was like, holy shit, I'm not watching the Jets game. This is terrible. I've never not watched a Jets game literally my whole life. And I tried to not know what was going on with the Jets because I wanted to record it. not look at my phone, go home and see what happened in the Jets-Cowboys game. And I get a text from a Giants fan from college. Wow, you're right. Sam Darnold is the real deal. And I was after Sam threw that 92-yard touchdown to Robbie. And I saw that text message from my friend, and I'm like, what? What's going on? Like, what's Sam doing? And I'm like, no way, because that kid that messaged me always was shitting on him. He's a Giants fan. And when I got that text, I was like, it's happening. Like, Sam's the guy. But we're not gonna talk about that anymore because we got a new quarterback coming in. We got a lot of good stuff coming our ways, right? How many wins is Darnold getting with Carolina? Good question.
That is a good question.
What do you think,
know,
Ali?
man?
That's gonna be a tough division with Tampa, Atlanta. Well, Atlanta's a question mark. Saints are also like they'll be relevant with Drew Brees retiring. They could be a 9 to 10 win team, 11. I think McCaffrey's huge. You're gonna get a healthy McCaffrey. He's gonna have weapons around him, dude. He's gonna have a coaching staff finally. I think if Joe Brady somehow can fix Sam Darnold and they can have a winning season and go to the playoffs, he's getting a head coaching job next year. That's literally what's gonna be. And I really like Joe Brady. I like Matt Rule over there. So I think I think it could be 10 to 11 wins for them.
What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I think that on paper he's certainly on a better team than he was a week ago. You got arguably the best running back in the game, definitely the best dual threat running back in the game. Maybe Derrick Henry might be the best pure running back, but in terms of a running back and a pass catcher, it doesn't get any better than Christian McCaffrey. I mean, a guy like Robbie Anderson, I think, last year in his first season with Carolina, we saw that maybe Robbie was kind of not underused, but a little misused with the Jets. It proved that he's more than just a deep threat. He's a good wide receiver who can make it happen on all phases of the field, not just, burning somebody deep. And then, a guy like DJ Moore, who's a very solid number 2 receiver. Obviously, the Panthers lost Curtis Samuel to free agency, but I think that, Sam is going to be in a very good position to succeed with the Panthers next year. I think they could be a 10-win team for sure.
Yeah, and I think any quarterback that has Christian McCaffrey as a running back is going to be happy because he's going to get a lot of stats. He's going to do a little screen pass. McCaffrey gives it 80 yards. That's an 80-yard touchdown for Sam. You know what I mean? So am I drafting Sam Darnold in fantasy this year? 100%.
Yeah, he'll be taken in at least one league for sure.
I have a sickness.
Yeah,
I really do. I took him 3 years in a row, and he did shit for me. So
you have a sickness of losing, bro.
Yeah,
fantasy.
I do. But I think that he can get 7 to 10 wins range if he can stay healthy, because we know that he's never played a full season for the Jets. So watch him be fully healthy for the Panthers, right?
Mono 2.0.
Yeah. Oh man. But I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what Sam does.
Yeah.
But what's gonna be even more interesting on what the Jets do in this year's draft, man. So much speculation, so much what if, so much who, what are we gonna do? But at least we got the two faces of the trenches right here.
Let's go, baby.
Look at those faces, man.
Look at those men. Let's go.
That's that guy on the left will be protecting our quarterback, and the guy on the right will be destroying the opposing quarterback.
Yep.
Like you love to see that. And then we got this guy who's happy to be a Jet. He's going to be getting to the quarterback as well. Welcome to the squad. And we got the two veterans. What
All
else?
somebody needs to do is just be hyped that they're on the team, and then they're just an instant fan favorite.
Literally.
I love it.
Like Carl Lawson.
Exactly.
And we have a legit edge rusher. At least we hope. I think we do.
I think we do. I think.
Who did we sign the other day from Tennessee or somebody like that? Another offensive lineman? What was his name?
Oh, yeah. Corey Levitt or something like that?
Levin.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Is that just another depth piece like Dan Feeney?
Yeah, I mean, Douglas is going to get in as many guys on the offensive line as possible because obviously he knows that it's a big issue. And he wants – I think the most important thing about that position in general is he wants competition in training camp.
Yeah.
Because that's what gives, these guys the most energy.
We need starters to be coming from the draft.
For sure.
And I like the depth signings. I really do. And I still think, what do we have out of Cameron Clark? But I definitely, expect the starters on the offensive line to be coming through the draft this year, next year, for sure.
I'm down, man. We need to get like 2 or 3 offensive linemen in this year's draft, 2 minimum. Especially that we
Yeah.
did not sign anybody, unless I don't know. I think it's inexcusable if they
I
don't
would
draft.
I would love it. I would be jumping for joy. I think it would be such a Joe Douglas badass move if we went O-line at 23, O-line again at 34. And he's just like, "What's up?" There you go. Offensive line, boom. Got it.
AVT and then Wyatt Davis or Humphrey.
That would be the dream.
That would be savage, dude. That would be savage. And then we can trade back for an extra third or fourth, something like that. Grab the best available corner. And because like you guys have been saying, I don't think you can completely write off the cornerbacks. You obviously want as many great players as you can at every position on the depth chart. But I think the offensive line outweighs the importance of the cornerback position because of the points you guys have been making, saying that if our pass rush is going to be as dirty as we think it's going to be, then it's going to lighten the load a little bit on the secondary, and not completely. You still want competent players everywhere you can get them, but I think that offensive line is definitely a stronger position of need, I guess you would say, than cornerback, just because we cannot afford as an organization to have a repeat of what we saw over the last 3 seasons. Like whoever we bring into the Jets organization at the quarterback spot is not going to save this franchise. Like that's a lesson we learned over the past 3 years. So if the team around you is competent and the offensive line can protect you, which is what a player like Zach Wilson is used to, at least, he had one of the most dominant offensive lines in college football at BYU, and he was, never running for his life or anything like that. So I think that in order for him to have less of a transitional period and for him to start, being a competitive, good quarterback in the NFL, we're going to need to do everything we can after we take him to bolster that offensive line. So 23, 34, that'd be dope.
I honestly wouldn't count that out, man. That's very possible. This is a good question. Would you consider trading up a few spots to secure AVT?
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, it really depends. If Joe Douglas is in love with him and he's not going to be giving up a crazy amount to move up a few spots, then yeah, go for it. Because we have, we were just talking about it before, 21 picks over the next 2 or 3 years, whatever it is.
Exactly.
So yeah, we definitely have the ammo to do that without hurting our organization in the longer run. So if he's absolutely in love with AVT, which I would love to secure AVT, my thought is that he'll be there at 23, but as the draft gets closer and closer, he seems to be rising up the draft boards everywhere. So we'll see, man. But I think there's a lot of offensive line talent besides him as well that will be able to grab somebody that's going to be a starter for sure.
What would you do, Ali? Would you be open to the idea of trading up to secure him?
Yeah, I mean, I would be open for it, but I think, honestly, it's just unrealistic at this point. I think he might go like pick 14, pick 15. That's a huge jump for the Jets to make, and I think they're going to have to give up too much to get up there. Obviously, he can drop. That'd be awesome. If we can somehow like trade up to if he drops to like the 19-20 range, maybe I'll trade up for him. But I think he can. I think he's going to go wait early, and I don't think he's going to give up that much, especially with Douglas, how Douglas plays it. He wants to gain draft picks, not lose them. So I don't see that happening.
Yeah, man. We have a lot of, assets like Jack said, and all these assets we're getting from the trades, like we can use those to get up. Now we have the ability to move up and not be hindered from it. It's not like if we trade up, it's like, all right, well, there goes our draft capital. It's like we can trade up and still have a shit ton of draft capital. That's what makes it so awesome that we have so many draft picks. So I wouldn't count it out. I feel like if Joe Douglas thinks that this guy in particular, say it's AVT or even another player that he's super in love with, and he wants this guy in the building for multiple reasons, he checks all the boxes character-wise, he's a leader, and this, and that, I wouldn't count out Joe Douglas being aggressive to trade up. I really think so, especially because of the draft capital we have. If we didn't have the capital and we had our own picks this year and next year, and we were just like any other team, then I would not do that. But since we have all the ammunition, you can't count out on it for sure. I also think this is going to be really fun because the Jets have never drafted this late in the first round ever in our life. Besides, back when we drafted Nick Mangold into Brick in the first 2 rounds, in the first round, both of them, and then the years we were good back in 2010 and 2011. But the Jets have always been picking in the top 15, so it's going to be crazy watching all the players on the board come off the board because we're going to be watching a different perspective, saying like, all right, we don't want him to go, like, all right, Raiders, don't take AVT. It's going to be crazy. Like all the picks from like 15 leading up to our pick at 23. That's going to be nerve-wracking, man. It's going to be nerve-wracking, and it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a fun time. Any other topics you guys want us to talk before we end off the stream? Also, if you guys enjoyed the stream and you guys did not already smash that thumbs up button, please make sure you do so. Let's get over 100 likes. We got 86 likes with 116 people watching. So if you guys did not smash it, please make sure you do so already. I'll greatly appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to Jets Media, Jack McGalley Music, and Official Loyal NY Jet Fans. That's down below in the description. Let's see it, man.
Yes, sir.
Any other topics you guys want to talk before we wrap things up?
I'm reading a tweet right now that kind of blew me away. Julian Edelman had more playoff receiving yards in his career than the Jets, Dolphins, and Bills each had during that 12-year span. I guess he played for 12 years.
Nice.
It's crazy, man. He's like an arguable Hall of Famer, Julian Edelman.
For sure. That's crazy, actually.
Isn't that insane? Than the rest of the division had. He had more receiving yards. That's crazy. In the playoffs. That's nuts.
Right, Julian.
Who's going to be our Julian Edelman, man?
Braxton Berrios. Thanks, Crazy Killer 30. Appreciate the support, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks, bro. We're kings. King J is a king. Thanks, bro.
Good looks, King J. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. We got a lot of stuff coming up on this channel. We'll be live again next week. We got some Touchdown Kingdom content coming out. We got a lot of stuff leading up into the draft. We'll be live throughout the entire draft, as you guys know. I don't know. I think we're running out of things to talk about.
Kevin James is playing Sean Payton in a Netflix series?
Yes.
What the hell is that?
The best free agent pickups for the Jets. Well, we know the top 2 guys is Corey Davis and Carl Lawson. Those are the 2 guys we gave a lot of money to. But
I would say Lawson is my favorite signing.
Yeah.
I think that the 5 sacks last year really doesn't tell the story of how effective and productive he really was as a pass rusher last year. He was one of the best in the league at getting to the quarterback and pressuring and QB hits. So I think that Robert Saleh is really going to unleash him. And he's a young guy. He's 26 years old. And I think that's just a perfect signing for the Jets. Corey Davis as well. Same age as Carl Lawson. Coming off of a very productive year where he just had a hair shy of hitting 1,000 receiving yards while he was on the same squad as A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry in a super run-heavy offense. So I think that we got 2 really good players for I think the value is for both of them is spot on. Some people could say we paid Corey Davis a lot of money, which we did. But then, you look at the Patriots signing Nelson Aguilar for more money than we gave to Corey Davis, former 5th overall pick. So I think that Joe Douglas really hit it with Corey and with Carl Lawson so far this offseason. And then a guy like Gerard Davis really intrigues me as well. I think that, another guy we're going to see what he can do under Robert Saleh because he seems to bring the most out of his players.
Yeah, man. I agree. Sheldon Rankins, another guy that's going to be on the rotation of dogs on that defensive front.
Vinny Curry
is going to be the elite. He's going to fill in for Steve McClendon as that veteran leadership, and he's going to be a pure pass rusher. The veteran guy teaching Carl Lawson, teaching Jabari, teaching Bryce Huff, all these guys on the line. He's going to, Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles with Joe Douglas. I feel like it's just a perfect person to bring in the building, veteran-wise. Tevin Coleman, Justin Hardy. You got a lot of new guys in the building already in free agency, man. A lot. And a lot more coming in the draft. How many picks we got this year? What, 10 or 9?
I think we have 9. Or
Yeah.
maybe 10.
I always forget. 2 firsts, a second, 2 thirds,
2 thirds, so that's 5.
a fourth, a fifth, and I think no, we have 2 fifths from the Giants, and then we have an extra 6th now from Darnold trade. So we have 2 firsts, 2 thirds, 2 fifths, 2 sixths.
You have 11.
Wow.
11
That's insane, man.
this year.
Yeah.
11. I'd expect that to go up. But like I'm down to go, trade up or trade down. Anything. All right, guys. We've been live for an hour and a half. We're going to sign off now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another Jets Media live stream. Appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. Jets community. We're in it to win it. We got a lot of stuff coming, and the Jets draft is coming as well. If you guys want to tune in, I'll be live on Green Bean's channel tonight at 10 for his draft show. So go type in Green Bean, the Jets fan, and I'll be over there at 10 p.m. Let's go Knicks tonight. The Mets got rained out again, back-to-back days. I'll be pissed. I know the Ali's are going to be upset when the Knicks spank them, even though they're without LeBron and Anthony Davis. But still, I don't care who's on the floor. I need his W tonight. But, that does it for this one. Jack, you have anything to say before we sign off?
Yeah, I mean, great episode. I had a great time, and appreciate all you guys in the chat hanging out and asking us some questions and giving us all your takes and stuff like that. And until next time, man, thank you guys for tuning in.
Word. And somebody asked me RJ Barrett's predictions tonight, stats. RJ's dropping 23 points, 6 boards, 4 dimes. He's shooting, 60% from the field, 2 of 4 from downtown with an ice clutch, another vein shot in the clutch. But yeah, Ali, what are your thoughts? Anything else you want to say? And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of our better streams. I feel like we're more knowledgeable about this team, especially with the quarterback position known and the draft prospects. So I think it's a much more easier stream for us and easier talk with fans because we actually know what's going on now. Kind of know what's going on. So I think that in that case, I think it's awesome. I'm happy that Julian Edelman has retired. I've dealt with a lot of pain with that guy. I hated that guy, honestly. He was a pain in the ass when we were playing him. And that's the one player on the Patriots. I hated Tom Brady. I hated Gronk. I hate Belichick. But Edelman was just on another level. I hated Edelman because he would be that third down guy who would extend the play and just win the game for them. And he pissed me off. So I'm happy for him. He's a Hall of Famer, obviously. But yeah, I'm happy he's gone. And I think the Patriots are on the decline. So we'll see how that goes. But see you guys next week.
See you guys next week. Thank you all for so much. The support means the world to all of us. And we'll catch you guys next week. Let's go Jets.
Let's go.